Let's continue with our coverage of the Los Angeles Auto Show, and we're in the Maserati stand. And Maserati has been able to maintain exclusivity in a way that other brands haven't. And with us is an expert on Maserati, works for Maserati, Jeff Ehoodin.
I have for some time.
Thanks so much for being with us. Tell us a bit about Maserati's philosophy and how it has been able to maintain exclusivity in a market where that's difficult to do, we think.
Sure. It's been some time. I've been with Maserati since 2000 when the project began, and we started under ownership by Ferrari, who have been building cars of tremendous quality at their own speed. And what that creates is very high quality cars that are genuine and authentic, and that fulfill the expectations necessary. So in essence, that's the best model to follow, I think, in the auto industry. I think you've seen over and over again, people always try for size, but it often...
And by size, you mean volume of units,
correct,
and number of sales. And,
exactly.
And you're not a volume-driven company. You're a company driven by creating individual items of value, really.
Correct, exactly, and building the right number of cars. So, for this year, it's also a challenge for us to remain lean and remain a very active company. I mean, in 2007, if you think about it, we introduced the Quattroporte automatic. We finalized and introduced the Gran Turismo, two new cars in essence, while at the same time being able to break even for the first time, we believe in Maserati's history, and in fact make a profit in the second quarter. So it comes down to really finding where your product fits.
Something that it strikes me, it's kind of strange, especially for a guy as old as me, to consider that a lot of cars over $100,000 are almost a dime a dozen in particular neighborhoods, and people are looking for that something different, that bespoke kind of thing, that custom thing that is theirs and theirs alone, rather than seeing themselves on each corner. And Maserati is that for a lot of people, isn't it?
We have, and that is specifically where we're targeting. We see the fact that really, in essence, $100,000 for a luxury car and a large luxury car is really becoming a point of entry. So there's that type of customer that wants something. They're used to high quality and they're used to authenticity. So for us, the challenge has not just been to create a car that looks beautiful, but that feels right, and that's where it's been. The engineering of the cars are fantastic. They're balanced. They handle, they brake, they fulfill every expectation one would have, and that's really been the key where we're now finding.
Tell us about what you're showing here at the Los Angeles show.
Sure. First off, the Gran Turismo, the new two-door, is really having its first major viewing around. It's the first time in the Los Angeles market, which is really important to us. So it's a car that really offers something unique. Again, starting at roughly $115,000, you have a hand-built car with an engine that's built at Maranello. That's
by Ferrari.
By Ferrari, correct. That sits 2 inches behind the front axle, 51% of the weight over the rear, yet in a beautiful shape that fits 4 people. It is a car that makes a statement, both every time you turn the key and every time you arrive. It's a Maserati. It fulfills what it's supposed to. So we view this as the next step. As we grow, we're still in the growth phase. We still have a lot of hard work, but we think now we're finally poised in 2008 with all brand new modern product to really compete. Within that, then also we have the Sport GTS, and that taps into another philosophy that we're working on, which is we have a great platform in the Quattroporte, but because each car is hand-built, we're very flexible in what we can do. So we can put a much higher technology braking system on it. We can put a fixed and lowered suspension setup and build a small run of cars that we know some of the real diehards and driving enthusiasts are going to want. But if we see a greater demand for it, we can ramp it up, we can ramp it down, and we have that flexibility because we're not constantly pressing and trying to sell more and more cars. We want our growth to be smooth and even.
Tell us a bit about the brake system on this vehicle, because it is spectacular.
It is. It's a fascinating system. Brembo essentially found a way to mate aluminum components with steel rotors, and it's how they're cast in. So what you're able to do is all of the areas that don't need to be, that are better off being lighter because it's unsprung mass, you can do in aluminum, but still have a steel disc that disperses heat, that's very reliable, that's easy to source parts for. So in essence, the brake system has enabled us to put on a much larger rotor, put a brand new 6-piston monoblock, essentially a billet caliper in it, and produce even better braking than the car already has. Again, the car stops in 109 feet, which is extraordinary, just a standard Quattroporte. Mm-hmm. So we're looking for ways to just constantly up that and produce different flavors and things that people will be interested in who have a passion for cars.
It strikes us at Kelley Blue Book that the Quattroporte was really a game changer for the luxury market.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that, a four-door sedan, yet with the feel of a sports car.
Yeah, we think so, and we've seen other folks come in, and we've heard a lot of things. It comes
Porsche
down,
will come with a car,
yeah,
apparently.
We've
some
seen
of your
it precisely, but we've been here for a while. We've looked at different ways of doing it. The original Quattroporte was really much more of a sports car and needed to be driven as such. And there's a huge group of people who really enjoy that. And that's technology we still feel very strongly about and want to return to. But it comes down to great engineering. You know, as beautiful as a car is, if it doesn't have the engine sitting where it is, if it's not low, if it's not a compact little V8 that revs up to 7,500 RPM, then it's not going to, when people get in, it's not going to push the buttons it needs to push. And I think it's a lesson that anyone who spent any time in the auto industry understands. The product has to be unique and it has to be a quality. And that's what the Quattroporte has been. You can't drive one and not come out of it and say, yeah, it handles. Yeah, it brakes.
Very well put. Jeff Ehoodin of Maserati, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks.